Hi, and welcome to an uncanon episode of Trope Talk, where I use the podcast base of Red's Trope Talk from Overly Sarcastic Productions and talk about a trope which she hasn't mentioned yet. If you see this, Red, please use this video as a base to build your script on if you'll ever cover this trope. I'm a big fan of you in this format. The trope I'll be talking about today is the writing style method for the engaging of the audience with the fantasy world, or the point of no return, as I'd like to call it. Like the point of no return. In video games, it describes the location or moment a character goes somewhere or decides on a certain feeling to go to, whereas they cannot get back to the default state. Versions of physical points of no return are, for example, the fluent like in the Narnia series, by bit getting less coats and more branches in the wardrobe, more and more tiles in the subway station fly away, or more and more water fills the room until you're in an ocean. This is letting the audience themselves feel the immersion that the characters are facing that moment. It can also be designed as an active or passive point of no return, because the well can suck them in like the subway station gateway in Narnia 2 or the framed picture in Narnia 3, while the gateway to Narnia in the first movie is an active passage of no return. The characters still decide to go through it, even though at some point of the story they are not even aware of it. One also has to point out that the wardrobe isn't a classic point of no return, regarding they could always go back through the trees into the wardrobe, yet because of the large scenic changes for the characters as well as for the audience, it can be regarded as one, picturing the fact that they don't even think about going back that second. Heck, Lucy even has to be reminded by Mr. Tumnus to go back to her world for her to realize it was something she could have done the whole time. Next, I'll talk about the points of no return unseen by the audience. This is achieved by the main character by being passed out, like you see in The Cat Returns or in Contact, after the successful use of the machine where the aliens gave the blueprints to the humans. The second possible unseen point of no return is the cut to the destination, like for example seen in Harry Potter. The classic point of no return would here be the run through the pillar, yet for the audience the visual point of no return would be the train ride, which Harry takes to Hogwarts, where he really cannot return to the entry of the pillar, yet at the train station he could always turn around and run back. The active point of no return on the other hand is often introduced as pretty obvious, with someone blocking the way and telling the main character they cannot get further than this, or else, often ending in the main character tricking the god into leaving his post or not paying attention, which gives the main character a brief entry window. The example of Barbie's Fairytopia, yes, a Barbie movie! They can also be good examples for trope usage, portrays this pretty well by using a civil servant as the god, which blocks her way of leaving her known home area to enter the world she has to get into to do her job. Another active point of no return starts with the character, often a group of younger characters, go off trail and sneak around, and entering unknowingly their point of no return, like you see in the Polar Express. Polar Express? Polar Express? How do you pronounce that title? Let's see.
Polar Express.
Yeah, no, still sounds wrong to me. Here the characters trail off and try to find out some things about this place and their purpose of being there, yet taking the tube which takes them deeper and deeper into the facility, which forms their personal point of no return. Another obvious point of no return would be the Alice in Wonderland point of no return, which most of you are familiar with, where the main character accidentally enters the point of no return with the intention to get back, but not being able to and being forced to face forward. Alice also has an active point of no return, where she wants to go further by opening the talking door, which beriddles her into the solution. There are also, like I teased earlier, psychological points of no return, but I won't go into detail about them because this video is already long enough. A good example for a psychological point of no return would be when a character says something, throwing off the dynamic with other characters, which will stick for the rest of the show, usually when they snap at some point, like you see Shota do in a silent voice. Or another example would be when they decide something on their own, due to heavy consequences they've dealt with and piled upon them over the recent course of the story, also seen by Shota and Shoko in a silent voice. So that's it. Hope you liked my little experimental outlash here. I won't promise more videos. If some more do appear, thank Futuraki. See you next time.